Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Jacqueline King, and we've been waiting for this moment uh, to talk to Doctor and the lovely Queen, his lovely wife, Mrs. Jolley, and these two. Well, actually, Dr. Jolley, I saw you years ago. You've been encouraging people forever. I saw you in Greensboro. But
Wow.
yeah, that was a long time ago. But you guys have this new book. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff, but you guys have this new book. Because what is it? The percentage of marriages that fail is like off the chart right now.
Yes.
You guys have come up with a solution to the problem of marriages breaking up. So first of all, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell all the stuff that you did. Now we have 4 million followers. We're at 60 million impressions a year. So everybody's going to see this. So let's go.
Well, first, I want to thank you, Dr. King, for inviting us to be part of this program, and we are grateful for the opportunity. We were on the Today Show, and we did the Today Show, and when I got back to my computer, there was this wonderful email from this lady, Dr. Jacqueline King, saying, ooh wee, I loved what you did today on the Today Show. I got to have you on my program. And so we are grateful that we are able to make it happen and be part of this. So grateful. For those that don't know, I'm Dr. Willie Jolley, and I am the host of the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way show on Sirius XM. And many of you heard me if you're around the country on gospel radio. You can hear me every morning on Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell on the Get Up Morning show on Radio 1 stations at 8:20 every morning. And then some of you might have read some of my books. It Only Takes a Minute, Change Your Life. A setback is a setup for a comeback. Turn setbacks into greenbacks. An attitude of excellence. But what we're excited about now, as Dr. King mentioned, is that we wrote a book. We is me and my bride.
This is Dee.
Dee Taylor.
Hello. And thank you for having us. And you're doing an amazing job. I'm back in. I do the research. Of course, I looked at some of your video clips and other things. Thank you for what you're doing in our community.
So me and Dee over here, who is the brains behind this program, as you see, Dr. She wrote a part of a book, and I wrote a part of a book, and we put the book together, and the book has become a bestseller, and it's called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last: 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. So thank you for having us.
I'm excited about that. And on today's show, now you said y'all have never had an argument. I find that.
People hear that.
I was on it.
Oh. People hear that, but that's not exactly what I said. That's how they hear it. I said, and most times people get it like you just got it. Majority of people get it exactly like you just got it. You've never had an argument. No, I said we've been married for 37 years, going on 38 years, haven't had an argument in over 35 years. Okay. Now people hear that, but that's good. It's okay, because then we can expound on the fact that,
well, it gets their attention.
Yeah, we haven't had an argument in 35 years, but those first couple of years were like World War III. We learned some wise lessons
lessons that we actually implemented
from wise mentors. We implemented the lessons. They worked, and 30 years later, after not having an argument, our son said, my friends don't believe it when I tell them I've never heard my parents argue. They said that's not possible. And at that point, he had never heard it in the young years. So by the time he was in his 30s, he said, I've never heard him argue. And they said that's not possible. So that is how we came to have this.
That's how it ended up being a book. But
let's start at the beginning. So the first few years was a little rough. So talk about that, and then we can go transition into the smooth part.
Well, it was rough because we were making all the classic mistakes that people make. You kind of broached the subject early on. 50% of marriages in America break up. Okay.
And of that 50%, 40% of those that are left.
Of the 50% that remain.
40% of them are miserable. They're together. They're together for kids. They're together because can't afford to live apart. You know, we don't know why, but they're miserable. So what do you do about it?
So the average length of time a married couple stays together, according to statistics, is 7 years. 7 years before they divorce. Well, we beat that statistic first by 30 years. And second, we beat the super statistic that we haven't argued in over 35 years. Now, what is it that we did? Well, initially, we were arguing a lot. But one night, we almost broke up.
Over Chinese food.
Oh, no.
Over Chinese food. And
it was what the Chinese food represented in terms of us not really understanding each other or being willing to listen.
And communicating. You know, marriages break up for one of three reasons: sex, money, communication. And communication comes in a lot of different forms. Not listening, not understanding, not being willing to communicate, not talk to each other, grandstanding, stonewalling, silent treatment, all of that foolishness. We did all of that, okay? We did all of that. So what happened was her brother was coming to visit with his wife, and I talked to him on the phone. I said, what do you want for dinner? You know, he said, well, what do you like? I said, I like Chinese food. He said, that'll work for me. So I am a Chinese food aficionado. I know all the good Chinese food places. I love Chinese food. And I know the great places that have the big servings and they give you more than you pay for and all of that, versus my wife.
I'm a cheating vegan.
So she don't know nothing about Chinese.
I love that.
So she don't know nothing about no Chinese food. Well, we go to the Chinese food restaurant.
Carry out counter
together, and I order this, and this. That's more than enough because they get big portions. She says,
you're being cheap. I will be embarrassed. We need to order more.
I said, no, we don't need to order more. I know what we need. I got this. This is more than enough. And leftover Chinese food is not good. So I know exactly what we need. She says, no, you're being cheap.
It's not enough.
Not enough.
And we got louder.
And I said, you don't know what you're talking about. And it got loud and it escalated. You know, that happens when people argue. They escalate the argument because each one wants to win. Each one wants to be right. And it escalated to the point where I started hollering. Oh, I'm telling you that you don't know what you're talking about. And she put her finger in my face and said,
I will leave you.
I will leave you.
Over some Chinese food.
Yes. It's not logical.
It's not making sense.
Where was I going to go? I didn't have a clue.
It's the fact that the communication had broken down. And it could be Chinese food, could have been who turns out the light. We've had people argue, break up over who turned out the light at night. I mean, anything can be an argument. If you don't have a system to solve it, it just goes off the rail. And before you know it, you forgot what you argued about, but you're now arguing about who's going to win. Or you're just so concerned about winning.
Because you need to have the last word.
There you go. So when she said you'll leave, I said, okay, dial it back. Now that was one of my best decisions. Turn the volume down. I'll get whatever you want. I'm not happy, but I got it. I bought whatever she
wanted. He was a good husband. He bought everything that I wanted.
Wow.
Now, we had the dinner, had way too much food, had to throw away food, which means you're throwing away money. And then when they left, that's it. We got to have a conversation. And we had
before we go to bed.
Yeah, we have to have a conversation. And so we had a conversation that night that established a system, a process that we've continued for 30 years, and it kept us from arguing.
We call it now the rules of engagement.
Yeah, the 4.
Okay, well, all right, because I mean, I'm not married, but you know, who knows? I might get married again sometime in the future.
Okay.
So tell me, okay, tell me what these are, because I think that communication is the biggest barrier to a successful marriage.
You're absolutely right, because everything kind of stems from communication. If you got good communication, your love life will be better. If you got good communication, your marriage and money life will be better. But if you have bad communication, everything goes by the wayside. So you're right. So here, what we learned through that process that changed our marriage, and now it's changing marriages around the world when people institute and embrace the recommendations that we give. Number one, it's called the 4F system, 4Fs system for communicating so you never argue again. Number one, be friendly.
And how are you going to be friendly when you're angry?
Yeah, you got to be friendly. So what we recommend is we'll call it pattern interrupt. When you're angry, you got to have a pattern to get past the anger so you can make a logical decision.
So you can calm down.
That's right.
And not say things that you cannot take back.
Because that's very important, because see, words are like toothpaste. Once they're out of the tube, you can't put them back. Okay? So what we recommend is calm down. Take a walk, count to 10, take a ride, take a drive, but do anything but say something while you're angry. So
you already know what it is that calms you down. For some people, it is taking a walk. For somebody else, it might be a yoga class. For somebody else, it says, I just got to get in the car and drive to the countryside and sit and just think for a while. So whatever that is, you need to know to study yourself enough to say, when things really are starting and I'm getting that rising heat, what am I going to do? I'm already planted in my mind what I will do when I'm starting to feel that I'm going to lose control.
So first, be friendly. Be friendly. Be friendly. Work on being friendly. Because when you're angry, people put up defense mechanisms.
So they won't hear you anyway.
They put up.
But let me ask you something real quick. So
sure.
What if one person can calm down and the other one can't?
That's not going to work. This has to be why we recommend people get 2 copies of the book. When you buy the book, don't just get one for yourself, get one for your spouse, your partner, whatever, because you both need to know what works and why it works. So it won't work if one participates and one doesn't. It's not going to work.
I say it's also respect. If I am one who can calm down and say, I need to take a moment, an hour or so, and my partner says, no, I need to talk about it right now, and chases you around when you're saying, give me some space, to me, that's disrespect. Now, we have had couples who said that. Well, I want to talk about it all right now, and he doesn't want to talk about it. Well, how is that working for you?
It's not
so
going to work.
You have to establish some mutual respect. Oh, yes, you want to talk about it right now because that's your style. But you didn't end up with somebody who's exactly like you. And in some cases, if both of you are exactly alike, one might be unnecessary. So you back up and you give that person the space they're asking. And then you say, oh, okay, can we have a time when we can get back together? Right. Respect the person enough to give them the space and then establish when you're going to get back together.
Right. So first, so be friendly, and it takes both people to play. Look, it takes 2 to tango, and it takes 2 to tango. Okay, so if one don't participate, you can't get this right. So you got to tango. It's going to take 2 people. Okay. So first off, you've got to be friendly. Don't be angry. Don't be belligerent. Be friendly. Next, to be frank about your feelings. Be frank about your feeling, which means to tell the truth about how you feel. That does not mean that you tell them about what they did. It's not about them at that moment. You did this, you did that, you did that. You got to be frank about how it impacted you.
How that behavior, how those words made you feel.
Right. Be frank about your feelings. Rather than pointing to them, point back.
I like it. I like it.
This
All
is
right.
how you made me feel. Okay, go ahead.
So what? Okay. And what else? I mean, I
Then
know
be friendly.
we're not going to give the book away, but
I know we give you all 4 F's because they're important.
okay.
Be friendly, be frank about your feelings, be fair. Be fair, which means to listen to their side of the story.
But you're listening not so that you can respond with what you were going to respond in the beginning, but you're listening to make sure you understand what their needs are, what their challenges are. So it's an LQC. You're going to listen so that you can question. Are you saying, which means to restate or to state it in another way? Are you saying A, B, and C? Oh, I thought it was Z. So you're going to listen. You're going to question to make sure there's understanding. And then you're going to clarify. You're going to restate it to say, is that what you're saying? To make sure that you understand.
And when you do that, it opens up all sorts of things that you did not realize. I want to say, be fair. Listen, question. Is that what you, oh, you didn't mean that. Oh, you meant, So be listen, question, then clarify. So be friendly.
I'm gonna throw something in it. So what if you have somebody who you listen to and you say to them, you know, is that what you meant? Talk to them, and they never answer they don't answer the question. They never give you a straightforward answer. How do you handle that?
Well, again,
You got a problem.
You got a problem.
I know, right?
All right. Again, get 2 copies of the book. So if you don't get 2 copies of the book, one person's gonna know the system that works, and one's not. If the person is not willing to play,
they might have another agenda.
They got a different agenda. But if you want to make this marriage work, this relationship work, and both parties are committed to that, then they will read the book and say, okay, I have to, 1, be friendly. Now I got to be friendly. I got to be frank about my feelings, not about you. And then I got to be fair. It is. Then be fair and be willing to listen and say, I get it now. Okay.
But I like your pushback, Dr. King, because different agendas causes different outcomes. So it is very important when I talk about mutual respect. Well, people are coming with different agendas, and their agenda might not be to be cooperative and loving. Maybe they're jealous. They're a relationship.
You can't
say that.
You can't see.
I don't know.
I don't know what their motivation.
He always gets on me about it. You don't know their motivation.
You don't know what motivates, but you can say
they're acting.
They acted out. Okay, you don't know what caused them to act out. So first, be friendly, be frank, be fair, and then be focused on a win-win. Win-win. That we in this to win it together. It takes teamwork to make the dream work. So we are working on focusing. So we give a story about the fact that not too long ago, I lost my wallet. Now, my wife for years has told me, do not leave your wallet in the car when you go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
But many years ago, I left my wallet in the gym and I didn't put a lock on the lock. And when I came back, my wallet was gone. So I've always been a little apprehensive about leaving my wallet. Well, I would leave it in my car and I kind of cover it over so nobody would see it. And I go to the gym. Well, not too long ago, I went to the gym and had a great workout, came back and the phone rang as I was getting in the car, and I put the phone on speaker and I'm driving home talking. And when I get home, the phone call is not over. And I gather my stuff and I go in the house. I'm still on the phone and I'm distracted. And then finally the phone call ends. Well, I don't think any more about it. Later that afternoon, I got to go out. I'm looking for my wallet. Can't find my wallet anywhere. Not where I regularly put it. Not and when I come in the house, not nowhere. It must still be in the car. That's where I last saw it. I can remember. Go to the car. Don't see a wallet. I look all over the car. Somebody stole my wallet out the car. So what do you think my wife said when I went to tell her? What do you think? What she said? What do you think she said?
It wasn't good. Whatever it was.
Most people say, "I told you so," but here's what I want you to know. She didn't say that.
She didn't. Oh, look at
Yeah.
you, Miss D.
She didn't say that. She said, what did you say?
Let's go to work.
Let's go to work.
Let's call the credit card bureau. Let me go pull out the list that I keep of all the credit card numbers, the passwords, the telephone numbers. You take half, I take half, because we're in business together too. So I'm thinking we have been compromised. We have been compromised. So we've got to attack the problem
Together.
So Miss D.
Oh, let me finish the rest of the story. There's something else to the story. So we take about 2 hours. We shut down all the credit cards. We attack, and then we go to bed. She never says to me, "I told you so." And why? Because this system is ingrained in us. If it had happened to her, I would have done the exact same thing. I would have said, "Hey, got to get it done." I would not have said, "What do we need to do?"
Right.
Because that's the system. It's us. So here's the lesson. 1, we did not attack each other.
Mm-hmm.
We ganged up on the problem. We attacked the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we defeated the problem. Now, let me give you the rest of the story. The next morning, I wake up. I retrace my steps. I said, I just can't be. I found the wallet, had fallen behind a flower pot in the house. So I found it, but here's the lesson, that we did the right thing because we established a system and it's part of our culture. And that's why we don't argue. We don't attack each other. We are friendly. We are frank. We are fair. We are focused. And we know that it takes teamwork to make the dream work.
We're focused on a win for both of us.
Absolutely love that. That's great. So the book, give me the title again because I don't have it in front.
Make love, make money, make it last. 10 secrets to shape a great marriage.
Okay, so as business partners, how does that? Yes, please. Yes, thank you, Ms. D. Yeah, so as business partners or people that make money together, does it ever? I mean, I know you've got it down to a science, but a lot of people can't do business and relationship,
and they shouldn't. Okay, we're not recommending that for people. Okay, some people should not do it because they're not strong enough in their relationship. You know, during the pandemic, when people were stuck at home, there were a lot of divorces because people weren't used to that intense connection. They were used to getting up in the morning, kissing each other goodbye, going off to their separate job, coming back in the evening, having dinner, looking at a little television, and then having a weekend where they're together or going on dates. But they're not used to that intense all the time together.
I think what they discovered being together 24/7 was that there were habits and patterns that were annoying. So and they could not get beyond that. How come I never noticed this before? Because you had another kind of routine where you were apart most of the time.
So that's why we say everybody's not made to work together. But now there's a big but there. But everybody can live together and have a good marriage if they know how. And that's what we did in the book. We teach them how to stay together and don't let the little things become big. See, most of the problems, ours was Chinese food, just a little, you said it, Chinese food, it was a little teeny weeny issue. But if it's not checked while it's little, it keeps getting better. Bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you got this chasm that's hard to close. That's why we say, get the book, read the book, go through the principles. There are 10 principles. They work. Look, principles are like gravity. You throw a rock up in the air 10 times, it's going to come down 10 times because of a principle called gravity. The same is true for these principles. They work because they are established over time and they work. Be friendly, be frank, be fair, be focused. But there are 10 principles that will help you stay married and have a happy, we want you to have happy marriage.
It's a good thing when you're friends with your mate.
Yep, that's principle number 1, friends first.
And you would think that would be rather straightforward.
You would
But
think.
I was having a conversation with that ended up being more of a mentoring session where I had to explain. She said, well, I'm married to him and I don't see him as my friend. I'm like, what? Okay. What are some of the things we actually had to go down a list of things, and I had to ask her questions. And after she said, I guess he is my friend. But I need to say that.
So friends first, and you sometimes have to rekindle friendship. But the reason why we say that is because people get married for all sorts of reasons. They get married because somebody looked good, somebody had a fancy car, somebody had a fancy job,
or they thought they had money,
or they needed a green card, or somebody was pregnant. Who knows why they got married? But if you're not friends, it's gonna be hard to make it last. Because friends, you got to be friends first. But there's gonna be stuff that happens in life.
You don't always agree with everything your friend does.
No.
But there's something about how your friend makes you feel.
If you're a friend, if you got a best friend, think about it, everybody who's watching. You got a best friend who you've been friends with for, years. Do you always agree? No. Do you sometimes disagree? Yeah, but your friendship is willing or able to override the differences.
You like being with them.
Yeah, you do.
How they make you feel.
You dig that person.
I go back to
it's
that.
valuable.
That's important.
You value that friendship. So the same is true in marriage. If you're not friends, when tough time comes, which they are going to come, when stuff happens, which it is going to do, some people are broken up because a guy riding down the street sees a pretty girl and turns his head and looks at her. I mean, they thought, what? You did that? Or on the TV show, I was on a TV show the other day, and they said a guy got an Instagram post that came across, and he liked it. It was a beautiful woman, very shapely woman. His wife said, how are you going to like that picture of that woman in my presence? And it became a big boo-ha-ha. Just because he said, I liked it. Okay, I hit like. See, I don't know why something gonna happen. I don't know what it is, but if you don't have that principle of bedrock, it's gonna be ugly.
It becomes complicated. Relationships can be very complicated.
Yeah, and it can get messy.
You can work at it. You said one time it's work, but it's not hard.
Yeah, you got to work. People say marriage is work. And they make it sound like it's hard work.
Like it's a chore.
Like it's a chore. Thank you. Great word. Like it's a chore. But it's not a chore. It's work, but it's not a chore. And it's not hard labor.
It's kind of like gardening. I can tell you, I like gardening. And we live in the city, in Washington, D.C. And the effort that I put into he does not garden. I can say, would you dig a hole for me? He can do that.
I might do that.
Might.
I might. Or no, not because I don't like her. Or I could say, you know what? I'm gonna hire that dude over there who got nothing on. I'm gonna hire him for $5 to cut dig that hole while I'm in here making $50 or $100 or $500. I don't really do that.
Over the course of years, I do have a gardener.
Yeah,
okay?
I call it.
But the working in the yard brings me pleasure. But the point being to keep. I have roses and I own it. Anyway, it takes time. And in terms of pruning to keep everything looking fresh. And when they're not taken care of because it starts to shrivel, the leaves start to fall.
Right.
Azaleas are temperamental. So it's the effort. Anything you love, you're going to take time. You're going to put in effort. And it shows in terms of how it grows, how it flowers, and it looks great. It's the same thing with your marriage.
Yep.
I love this. Am I getting my autographed copy?
We love to make sure you get one.
Okay, I want to get my autographed copy. This is really good. So how can they get this book?
Yes, they can get the book by going to Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. Go to jollymarriage.com. JOLLEY marriage.com to get your autographed copy. Get 2 copies. We recommend, we even give you a deal. If you get 1 copy, it's $27.95. But if you get 2 copies, get 2 copies for $40. And just get 2 copies. Y'all read it together at the end of each chapter. Talk about what you learned about each other. It will transform your marriage. We've had people, many people, who said, I was either divorced or on my way to divorce court, or I had signed a divorce papers, and they just happened to mention to us, but they sent us a note, I'm getting a divorce. I don't know if I need a book. I said, before you do that, read the book, get 2 copies, read the book, and then let me know what happened. Each one has.
Now, Dr. Jolley, real quick, I'm going to pivot before we leave. You're
Yes.
on Erica Campbell's radio, and so are you doing motivational? What are you doing on there?
Yeah, every morning at 8:20, I do a Eastern time. I do a daily 1-minute segment called "Wake Up and Win" with Dr. Willie Jolley. Every morning.
That's the one that's on your LinkedIn page that I share a lot.
Yes, that 1-minute message. Kathy Hughes loved that, who the owner of Radio One. Said, I love what you do with these 1-minute messages. We want you on our station. So now you can hear it across the country every morning at 8:20 Eastern time, 7:20 Central time with Wake Up and Win with Dr. Willie Jolley. It's a big deal. They kind of segment it. They talk about it. And then you can hear a daily message that will inspire you. Now we have people around the country who say, I can't go into the office till I hear my message every day. So yes.
And what about Sirius? What are you doing on Sirius?
Yes, Sirius, you can hear me on Saturdays at 4:00 Eastern time. It re-airs Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. And it is fantastic. This week, my guest is Les Brown and his mentor, Mike Williams. You can hear it Tuesday or Thursday, 6 p.m. But Saturdays at 4 is the original airing. Coming up this week will be the guy who's made millions of dollars. Every week I get a guest who helps you to have a wealthy mindset, help you create wealth in your thinking, in your family, in your finances, and in your future. So every week on SiriusXM. Now, what happens if you don't have SiriusXM? Don't worry. Just go to my podcast. I repurpose the show from SiriusXM to my podcast every week. And so you can go to my podcast and hear it on iHeartRadio, C-Suite Radio, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. And you can hear me with Gladys Knight. You can hear me with John Maxwell, with T.D. Jakes, with Chris Gardner, who did The Pursuit of Happiness, Beyonce's dad. We got hundreds of podcasts there. Go and enjoy them.
Great. So if you'll make sure I get those links, we will share them.
Great.
Thank you both so much. This has been fun and informative, and we will definitely be. It's airing on 5 of our pages. We'll be replaying it as well. And
play it a lot. And everybody, here's what I want everybody who's watching to do. Share it with everybody you know. Tell Lottie, Dottie, and everybody, ooh, you got to hear this interview with Dr. Willie Jolley and his wife, Dee. Ooh, you got to share it with everybody. Share it. If you're getting this and watching it now, then I want you to share it with at least 10 people who need to be inspired, who are in a relationship that needs some uplift. Not just the ones who are breaking up, but also the ones who want to enhance their marriage. So everybody share it with other people, and we'll make a difference, and we'll create a movement. So do that, everybody. And then one more thing. Every Monday night, we do a marriage show called the Jolley Marriage Show. And you can just go to A Jolley Marriage on Facebook. Follow me there. A Jolley Marriage on Instagram. Follow me there. Or Willie Jolley LinkedIn Live every Monday night, 9:00 Eastern. For a half hour, we do a show called the Jolley Marriage Show. And I get to talk about sex, money, communication, and why we stay together in the midst of all the challenges, because it's good to stay together. Come
on. So make sure that I get all those links and my autographed book.
We got to give us send us your address. And
I got your number now. Send me all the links that we need to share. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been my pleasure. And until the next time, we'll have to do something again real soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. God bless. And we thank everybody for tuning in. This is Dr. Jacqueline King, Black Women Empowered. Until the next time, be blessed.